just not good enough in the first half, guys. I thought our guys competed in the second half, but just all three phases in the first half, just very poor. And we handled the travel fine. We've played well on the road. We practiced pretty well this week. We just did not. At winning time in the first half, we just did not compete. And I think offensively, it's a slow start. Had a missed opportunity on fourth down. We had Huddy open. We didn't connect on that. That would have been a big play. I don't know if we win, but I think it definitely is not the ass whooping it ended up being. And so just too many negative plays offensively. If you look at the final stats, you're like, wow, they're not that bad. But we just played so poorly in the first half, hard to overcome. But if you look at sacks, and it wasn't just one person. I think the running backs gave up 2 sacks. We had a tight end give up pressure. We had an O-lineman. And then some TFLs. They were moving the front, which we anticipated. They probably moved it a little bit more than they have. But we didn't handle some of those run-throughs very well. And then defensively, this is just a bad matchup. I could get up here and talk about it for a while, but they got us in space. And we had several injuries in the game too, and that's not an excuse. That's just the truth. We had several injuries kind of early in the second half, or early in the second quarter, and they were just better than us in space. And so we missed a lot of tackles. They got the ball out of their hands. We didn't play as well up front as we have this year. And then special teams, the kickoff return issues, we shouldn't have that. Like, that ball should have been fair caught, and then we should have moved on. But it wasn't. And so wasn't good enough, not hiding from that. I don't think that the first half of football necessarily defines, who they are. Who we are as individuals or who we are as a team. But not pleased with that. And so start us, Greg.
So go back to the offense a little bit. I know negative plays part of the run total in that first half, but you didn't get a whole lot of major runs like you often do.
Mm-hmm.
Just their movement up front?
Movement. And they had some edge pressure. And it's one of those where we were close to kicking out of them. Mm-hmm. And there's been times we've kicked out of them, whether it's quarterback or running back. We kicked out of some in the second half. Jaheim got going. And then Garrett got an ankle there early, I think, and he wasn't able to kick out of some of those explosive runs that he normally does. And listen, you got to credit them. They did some good stuff. They did some different things defensively. And but we were close, but we never could kick out of, the tackle there.
Your intensity, your strength, what you expected in the first half?
It wasn't good enough. The play wasn't good enough, and without me watching it, it's not fair. Now there's some things that look bad, like that kickoff return looks bad. Now the kid's not trying to do right. That's not an effort issue. Defensively, I have to watch it. Now some of it's just they're better than us in space, and we can coach them and we can encourage them, but there's just sometimes that when they get the ball in space, they've got some talented guys, and that was going to be a struggle for us, We didn't have any illusions that this was going to be a game that was going to be won in the 20s, but we weren't up for the task offensively. We knew we were going to have to get up in the upper 30s, low 40s to win, and we just didn't do that. And we had some opportunities, especially early on some third and fourth downs, and you got to be able to convert that. I said this, I think, Monday, and then said it Tuesday on the radio show. Made first downs are so critical in these. When you're going to have to play in a shootout type game, you got to make first downs, and we didn't do that early in the contest, and we got behind, because we had a hard time slowing them down, which we knew was going to be an issue coming in the game.
Knowing that, I guess that went to your philosophy early. You were going on fourth down. You're always aggressive.
Yeah, we have to. I don't think that's a. You can question some things that happen, but I think that's you have to do that at that time because they're good on offense, and the matchup's not great. The matchup's not great.
When you say the matchup's not great, what do you mean? Just because their speed?
Yeah, they got good skill players, and we're beat up, and that's just, we're really good in the box area, and we've had some issues on the perimeter. It is what it is.
Next couple of weeks till bowl announcements and that.
They need some rest. Mm-hmm. They need some rest. It's been a long year. And those guys, they have to listen to all the negativity, and it's been a hard year for them. And they need a little bit of a break. They need to be able to catch their breath. Positive is that's not going to be the end. You know, we have another game. We can always finish well in a bowl game. Our guys will bounce back. You know, they bounced back in the second half. You know, it wasn't clean football, but it's a heck of a lot better than what was out there on the first half. You know, and these guys, anytime they've had their backs against the wall, they've always come out and competed. And they'll do that in the bowl game. They'll do that in bowl game. I hurt for them because the first half that just it did not indicate like who we are.
Injuries you mentioned.
There was a lot.
That's the only-
Yeah, so we had 3 concussions in the game. I'm not going to name them, but and then I think we lost like seven people during the game. You know, and so we were playing some freshmen, but they're going to be good players. They may not be quite ready for this, but kind of they learned on the job, and they did better in the second half.
Any thought of trying to play a few more of the younger guys? I know you did some. But
Yeah, we were going to play Nico, and then we've got a little 2 quarterback package that we were starting out there in the second half, and we were going to play him quite a bit in the second half, and then he got rolled up on, so he wasn't available, or he would have played, which I hate for him. And but we had a little package there. We were going to kind of open up. We had 2 or 3 plays that we were going to do, and he got hurt and wasn't available for the rest of the game. Jed.
Jaheim seemed to get rolled on in the second.
He did, yeah. But we made first downs, Jed. You know, like you understand offensive football. Like we were able to get the run game going because we made first downs. You know what happened to us, but you know we had it wasn't like the first half. We had a bunch of these. Like it was bad play after bad play. What happened is it's hard to call it. It's hard when it's 2nd and 18, you know, and you're getting those behind because you're having TFLs. And so we made first downs. We weren't in a bunch of those really negative situations there till the end with when we got in that, you know, when the pick was thrown. But we stayed out of some of those really long distances, so we're able to convert there. And that's kind of where we're pretty good in 3 to 8. It gets above that, then it's tough sledding for us and everybody else, really.
Was a 2-point conversion tackle eligible to Wyatt? Or
Yeah, we did. Yeah, we were just throwing him a bone. He's a phenomenal player, and we've carried that. And it was probably a stretch versus these guys because they're a 3-down team, but he's been on me about running it. So I love the kid, and he's not a good player. He's a great player, and so we were throwing him a bone.
Is he eligible? 'Cause they
He
called
is.
that.
He was eligible. We didn't execute it properly. The quarterback should have attacked the line of scrimmage and turned it back. Yeah, he should have been eligible. But you were going to ask something, Jed? I'm sorry.
I was just saying the run game in general. I think you answered with the first downs in the second half. 'Cause
Yeah.
And you were converting on 3rd down in the second half quite a bit at a pretty rapid clip.
Yeah, you know, we did some better things in the second half, but I think if you look at it, we completed some easy balls. We got some key completions on the hash, and that's where when we've thrown it effectively, we've been on the hash there. And so we did that in the second half, and then we were consistent in the run game. You know, we didn't have some of that run through stuff issues that we had in the first half.
You touched on it a bit, but the reflection on the year as a whole.
Yeah, you know, I think first of all, it's probably too soon. You know, after as poorly as we played in the first half, I think it's probably a time for that. I will say this is there was some good and some bad. You know, and our record at the end wasn't what we hoped for, and I don't have any problem admitting that it wasn't what we had hoped for. But I will say this: I thought that over the course of the year, there were times when people were counting us out, and our guys bounced back and did some good things. And we got some good people in the locker room. We got some areas that we can compete with anybody in the league, and we got some areas where we got to do a lot of work. And I'm talking about in some personnel areas. And so, and those are we're very cognizant of that. We're not covering our eyes. There's areas where we have to get better. We won five games in this league. We wanted to win more. There were some games there that we didn't win that we're capable of winning. And so I don't think that we're just miles away, but there's critical areas where we have to improve.
Okay, thank you, Coach.
Yep. All right. Thank you all.